Like many people, one of the things I hate most is having my time wasted. Like many people that are seeking the truth, you have to swim through an ocean, absolute ocean of junk. Smokescreen lies, if you want to figure out what's going on. The only good thing about the junk is that it does help to understand what's really in place. It is a rare thing to find somebody that was plugged into the power system that's going to tell the truth. You get all kinds of people that are supposed disclosers, you know, they'll come out with, oh, this happened. And the fact that they live after doing that is proof that it's lying, because the power's with the armies and the money, that they'll kill you. If you really expose something that they don't want exposed, you're not hard to find. You have to have an army yourself to stop that from happening. Not to mention their heart attack guns, where they can kill you with a frequency from half a mile away. You know, I gotta get a grasp on this. You know, we're just left to decide what's up ourselves based on common sense. You say, like, I post a video about this subject or that, I always get the trolls that say, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Prove it to me. Where's the documents? Do you have any idea how hard it is to prove something when you're dealing with that kind of money and that kind of power? They alter all the documents. They keep any aspect of the truth hidden from people. And what they throw out there is all this confusing stuff to just derail you off the road. And I just got done watching a couple of guys that were talking about the aliens, you know. I never go there. I never go with the extraterrestrials or UFOs or anything, because who knows? We had Bill Cooper, who everybody loved him. And there's a good chance he was killed by the authorities because, you know, he was saying a little too much and having a little too much freedom. But for years, he was talking about being in the military and seeing UFOs and knowing all these things about how they come out of the water and how they float around, how fast they float, and I just got done watching these two guys. What's his name? I mean, I disrespect these guys so much I forget their names. Charles Hall and Paul or George Hellyer in Canada. And they're going on and on about the races of aliens that live here. Now, I'm not a disbeliever. It makes sense to me that there's higher intelligence out there that can do all kinds of things. I believe the stories about the giant skeletons found all over the world that are probably in excess of 15,000 years. And I accept the proposition that human beings were made by aliens messing around with genetic engineering, so we would do the work that they didn't want to do. They want to get certain minerals, or I don't know. There's probably a ton more gold on this planet a long time ago, and they took it all. And what we got now is just the remnants. I believe in the idea that Mars was once inhabited, and it lost its magnetism because those people were so smart and so, you know, advanced that they screwed up everything and ruined the planet. And then they came here. I believe that. I believe in the possibility that you can tap into essences in the ether and do all kinds of things, like read minds and teleport physically, you know. I believe that science fiction films, the people that make those films are weird people that know certain things and told certain things, like they're found to be good writers and they're informed with certain technological things and they're threatened with secrecy. They got to be quiet about where they got it from. And it's, you know, sprinkled into the films. Like, for example, Star Trek with the transporter room where they get to... Quiet! Quiet! Stop barking! Dogs. But that, where you get to deconstruct molecularly a person and transport them through the ether based on coordinates. Star Trek's really particular about how these things work, and it's like, that makes sense. Coordinates with regard to time and space. I believe it, that can be tracked and tapped into, and you can easily, once you know what you're doing, go from here to there without having to physically fly from there to there. You can just, the coordinates, the signal's made, you're deconstructed, put into a signal, and reconstituted somewhere else. I believe that. For example, that's how I think the Shroud of Turin was made, because Jesus teleported from heaven to earth and then got out of the shroud by coming through the shroud. He probably didn't even unwrap it. And the energy, the strange biochemical energy that was involved, is what made the image. Call me psycho. That's what I believe. Anyway, these two guys talk about these 4 or 5 races of aliens that work with the American government, and that they're super smart, and they're all a little bit different, and they're from nearby stars, and the Pleiades, Orion, and we're just supposed to accept this. It just doesn't make any sense to me that, okay, these high-minded beings would only work with the bastards. See, that's what throws the story off. It's like they would only work with the military. You would think that they would free us from their grip. You would think they would kill the Rockefellers. You would think, these aliens that can do all this stuff, they would recognize that we're suffering and we live these horrible lives. And it's all because of a few people who are easy to kill if you got that kind of knowledge, who are just putting their claws in our lives and making us, feel normal about things that are not normal. Oh yeah, I'll pay that income tax. Oh, I'll pay that $300 electric bill. Okay, 80% of what I make when I sweat and hate my job all week goes to a bunch of people that just sit around. That's not life. That's in prison. That's being in prison with no bars. You would think the aliens would recognize that and blow them away. That's what throws it off the UFO talk to me. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. Makes sense that if you could get Mercury spinning around fast enough with magnets that are cut a certain way, you could have perpetual motion that could do anything. So the flying saucers that have the spinning bottoms, it's pretty classic. Makes sense to me. If you want to make a hovercraft, that's how you do it. The Great Pyramid, that was made through telepathy. That was made through resonance and tapping into a substance's resonance frequencies and then getting it to displace gravity. And that's what I think. That's what I think about the Great Pyramid. All of that, alien technology. Why, with all of this high-minded stuff, can't a little justice come into the picture? Why do I gotta listen to Paul Hellyer? Paul Hellyer, right? He's sitting in front of this congressional hearing. This guy is a dignified defense minister of Canada, reading out of his book. You see something with Charles Hall, he's reading out of his book. All these people are pumping their books. They're trying to make money. So everything that they're saying has got to be called into question, and it might all be lies. I mean, I believe in extraterrestrials and high society, you know what I mean, having existed a long time ago, and they were blown away by somebody else. Like I said, the movies, they come out with something, they hint at real history, like Star Wars with the Death Star. That's the moon. It's telling a little story about the moon, that the moon is actually the Death Star, and it's out there doing way worse things than shooting a beam and blowing a planet away. It's controlling our minds because of its effect on resonance and the magnetism and our personal what do you call it? Our personal constitutions. Our cerebral constitutions and how we understand things. Our cognition is governed, I believe, by that, the moon. Because everything we do is tapped into 12 tones, 12 places that starts a new cycle on 13, and that's why 13's always been thought of as a powerful, unlucky number, because that's when the change happens. That's the moment. The 13th minute of the hour is weird. A car always drives by my house. I can count on it. I can predict it. I could weird out my friends if it's like 10 after the hour, and we're sitting there talking. I say, in 2 minutes, a car's going to drive by. Always happens. I don't know why. And it's just like, I don't know why. And so these things are set in motion, and I just believe that we are governed by just total enslaving forces. And it's all BS, and they just keep us in a mode of BS because they know that if we all woke up and we got the power to either kill them all or just say no to what they want us to do, and they need us. They just want their high standard of living so they can act like kings and queens, and that's the whole point of it. And I hate it. I want the world to prosper. The world, like everybody, to get what they want. I want necessities just provided. And then any other extracurricular ideas, that could be capitalism. When it comes to food, a place to live, nobody should, nobody should just lose their life because they're trying to make that happen. And that happens all the time. Why would the aliens help the government that blows up people? Why would they do that? I just don't get it. So we're supposed to believe in these, like the tall whites and the grays. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I mean, the way like this guy reading out his book from Canada, Charles Hall, okay, but it's just an exchange of technology is what they say, and that's why we have cell phones, and that's why there are drone planes now, because the aliens showed them how to do it, and 9/11 happened because they showed them how to molecularly deconstruct a building and make it look like a collapse from an airplane. Well, I'm going to run out of time, but that's my May Day #2.